Hey everyone, I spent some time last night putting together a rig that I found on a channel called the Frugal Film Maker, and I'm really impressed with what came out of this. So I thought I'd take a moment and do a video response so that I could thank him for this great project. I had to do some modifications because I shoot with a DSLR, and so some of his dimensions were a little small for my overall size that I needed. So it did some modifications, and I'm really happy with what I came out with. So let's take a minute and I'll show you through some of the stuff I've been doing. There's just a couple things that I really wanted to point out about this. First of all, I'm really impressed with the overall quality. Once you cement up the contacts and let everything dry, this thing is solid, and it does a really good job. I would suggest that you do consider adding the auxiliary ports on the top. It's definitely worth having, and eventually I'll be putting an onboard mic there, or you could do as the Frugal Film Maker mentioned and possibly put on a light so that you have a film light on there. So overall though, I'd recommend this build to anyone that's considering getting into something for their camera. Next thing I wanted to point out is cost. I believe that the Frugal Film Maker video called this a $5 build. I can see that if you have excess parts around from other projects where you've used half-inch PVC, but for me, I had to go out and buy everything to do this. So at the end of it, if you're in that same boat, you're looking at about $17 in just PVC and parts. And then also I had to pull out the PVC cutter. I have a Harbor Freight, but it's too far away to get to make saving less than $10 really worth the trip. So I just went ahead and bought a Lowe's PVC cutter. That ran me about $13. So overall we're at 30 bucks. You add in some spray paint and you're in at about less than 35 bucks. So still a good deal, still worth every penny, but it's definitely more than a $5 build if you're trying to do this from scratch. Some of the shakiness in my video I think is likely attributed to some of my lack of knowledge on how to really work this rig so far. So take that into consideration too. I think as I learn how to slow down and move more smoothly, that'll help both when I'm in the rig and when I'm out of the rig. So just some basic fundamental skills that I need to work on personally. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video response. I've really enjoyed putting it together, and I look forward to seeing what I can do with this rig. Once I learn more about how to really handle it properly, I think that it's going to be a great tool to have in my toolbox. So thanks again, Frugal Film Maker, and I look forward to doing some of your other projects. Have a good night. Take care.